All right, William, thanks for joining. So you can hear me. So let's get started. All right, guys, welcome to Fitness, Nutrition, and Mindset. And today our topic is how to train. Should we train with light weights versus heavy weights? But before starting that, right, I'll just go through one of my experiences and that tells a lot about what's going on in the world, right? So a lot of people I think are not ready to change their fitness, right? You see in the whole world people running behind their jobs, busy life, business, or whatever they are doing, right? And they are delaying the process of starting to weight lift, right? Strength training. And what happens when they are once they are doing this time is not going to come back. What issues will come is that you are delaying, you are losing muscles and bones as you are aging. It's every day, okay? You cannot cover or catch up with your health later on. Every day you are losing muscles and bones. So that's my question to everyone, right? Why do you want to, just because of job and business, can't you work out 15 minutes a day and delay this muscle loss and bone loss, right? Because if you are thinking that, okay, I'm going to start after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, for those years, you are losing your muscles and bones and health as well. And you can never catch up with the health, okay? So if you're thinking after 4 years, you're going to start, and let me tell you, whatever diseases you face, whatever muscle loss happened during those 4 years, you will never be able to catch up with that. Okay. You will. So if you start today, you are going to be one day ahead of everyone who starts tomorrow. Okay. So that's what I want to communicate to you, that today is the day to start weight training, start going to gym, and don't wait. Business and everything, I think, can wait. You have 15 minutes a day to work out. And if you're not doing it, I can bet you, right? More than 40, after 40 or even after 35, the body is going to give up and it's going to be very late. So that being said, all right, so let's start, right? So lightweight versus heavyweight. So there are mainly two ways to strength train. Okay, the first one is to make heavyweights feel light, and the second is to make lightweights feel heavy. Okay, so you have to decide which one you are, right? So there are two types of lifting processes. One is bodybuilding type, and the second is powerlifting type. So what a bodybuilder does, so that's what I specialize in, being a bodybuilder, and all the exercise techniques that I teach is like training like a bodybuilder. So the bodybuilder is the one who makes lightweight feels heavy. And when I say that, that means he tries to lift weight optimum enough so that he can do slow reps, right? But the weight is not very, very heavy that he is not able to complete 8 to 10 reps, right? So that's bodybuilding. Powerlifting is he is mostly training to lift as heavy as possible, and he is lifting with explosiveness and force, and he's trying to make heavyweight look light. So those are two different ways, and the goals of bodybuilders is to look as lean as possible. Aesthetics should look better, six pack abs, and all the muscles should look in great shape. While on the other side, power lifters can have a belly, beer belly, but they just want to lift heavy and heavy and heavy. They are not looking to shape their body, but they are looking to compete and lift as heavy weight as possible. Now let's see who we are, right? What your goal is and how you would want to train yourself. So let's start with the first, right? The mentality matters the most. Okay, both have their pros and cons, but when you are going to gym, you need to know that you are going to be doing weightlifting, bodybuilding type or powerlifting type, right? And most of the people don't know that, right? So let's start with that pros and cons, right? So the first is lifting heavy. Okay, when we are lifting very, very heavy, what are the pros? The pros are maximizing the efficiency, focusing on the movement, and not focusing a lot on feeling the muscle, right? So when I say that, right, for example, when somebody is doing a bench press very, very heavy, and by heavy I mean 3 to 5 reps, right? He is not able to do much. So he is going to focus on moving the bar in the bench press up and down. Okay. And he might be using his whole body, like not moving his whole body, but he's using whole body as one to move the barbell. Okay. So his focus is not about feeling the chest muscles, but his focus is moving the barbell in the bench press as efficiently and as quickly as possible, right? So that's what lifting heavy means, right? So he's not just focused on, okay, I want to build chest muscles, right? So he's focused on moving the as much of weight as possible. Now, this is I have seen, and I what I do is this is kind of a power lifting approach when you're lifting very, very heavy, right? So when somebody is going, I do this kind of lifting only maybe a month in a year because it's very, very very aggressive on the joints, right? So what does it mean is that I'm not focusing that, okay, can I feel my chest muscles? That's never an intention when I'm lifting very, very heavy like power lifter. Okay, my intention is I want to do 3 to 5 reps and I will be all hyped up. I'll be putting loud music and I'll be highly motivated to just lift very heavy. My form and posture still will be good, but I'll be using control of my whole body to lift the weight. Okay. So that's what it is, right? So now talking about the pros, right? It is good for overall muscle growth, right? And it's builds a solid body, right? So I would tell you, uh the old bodybuilders like Arnold and all the legends, right? And still right now people like to train in this kind of behavior, in this kind of range a lot because it's built a very solid rock body. Okay. Where they are, it's to build very, it's kind of a I would say a phenomena to build your strength very fast, right? If the only thing is you have to be a kind of very, very advanced trainer to understand that how to lift very heavy with explosiveness without hurting you, right? And it is it is it is kind of you have to train for that. Okay, you need a trainer and you need to understand posture and form. And most of the people, I don't recommend lifting as power lifter, lifting very heavy, but it builds a very strong body, right? So and when you touch power lifters, right, maybe their back or something, or maybe when Arnold used to work out like a power lifter for a few months, right, it builds like stone rock kind of body, which looks very, very kind of hard looking, right? That's what it builds, lifting very heavy. But it's requires a lot of training, that to understand what I mean, right? You, because you're using the whole body to move the barbell and you're not concentrating on a particular muscle or mind connection, right? So now this the issue with this kind of lifting is the injury risk is very, very high, right? And it's very hard to shape your muscles, right? This is not to shape your muscles, right? So if your goal is to build a very good looking chest, biceps, shoulders, heavy lifting 12 months is not possible, first of all, right? And if you are doing this continuously, lifting heavy, 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 you will not be able to build a good looking physique because you're not concentrating on actually targeting that muscle group, right? You are just moving the weight with the whole body. Okay, so that's the biggest con, right? And the second thing that I said, that the injury risk is very high. Until unless you are an expert in moving the weight, you will get injured. Okay, and you might have seen a lot of people moving very, very heavy weight, right? But even the power lifters, right, if you see them moving the Olympic bar, it's a challenge and they get injured a lot, right? So it's practice. It takes practice to understand how to move those heavy lifts. And also general average person, just if you can do once 1 month in a year, that kind of lifting like power lifter, it's more than enough to build your strength, right? And that strength propagates to bodybuilding phase, right? So I don't recommend generally to an average person who is just starting up or who is just maybe 1 year into the strength training to do this kind of lifting, because it's very injury prone, right? And if once you get injured, your few months are already gone, right? So that's first thing. And here the mentality matters most, right? You might have seen a lot of people in gym just shouting and just trying to lift something. It's completely ego driven, right? So it drives your ego to lift heavy and heavy and heavy all day long, right? But one thing you have to understand, right? Such heavy lifting is only maybe 30, 40 days a year. You should not do that the whole year. Injury risk. The another thing is you're not kind of building or your physique, right? If you want to shape your physique, this kind of training should not last throughout the year. Okay. So those are the pros and cons. If you want to lift heavy, lift it for a month during 12 months. It's between 3 to 5 reps, right? And concentrate on moving the weight. Don't concentrate over uh, muscle to mind connection. Okay. But beware that you will be very, very prone to injury if you not don't move the weights properly. Okay. So that's that's one thing, right? So now lifting light, right? Lifting light, the good thing is it focuses on the target muscle, and it's all about muscle to mind connection, right? So whenever I think me or my clients generally remain in this phase, and this is also called bodybuilding phase, lifting light, where we are lifting between 8 to 10 reps. And generally, for example, if we are doing the uh, barbell bench press, right? For chest, we are moving the weight very, very slowly. So the basic intention is to feel that chest muscle, right? It's a just muscle to mind connection you have to feel, and also move the weight very, very slow, right? Don't just use any other part of the body. You should only feel your chest contracting and expanding and stretching, right? So that's the basic intention. That's what's called bodybuilding kind of training, strength training, right? Where you're trying to feel, and this is what's going to shape your chest, your biceps, your other muscles. So I recommend everyone should stay in this phase for 11 months, training your weights. Every exercise or set should be 8 to 10 reps, no less than that, right? Don't push the weight, and concentrate on how you're moving very slowly. So the basic intention of lifting light and in a bodybuilding phase is to feel the lightweight heavy, right? So once I say that means is if you're moving the weight very, very slowly, right? Doesn't matter how light it is, you are going to feel the weight very heavy after a few reps, right? That's what the basic intention is, that I want to make lightweight feel heavy. Okay. So once you understand this terminology, right, you are going to see huge changes, how your body is doing your recomposition and how it's changing. So always try to be in this phase for majority of the year. Okay. So focus. Another advantage of this is it's always bodybuilding phase is always focus on calmness, right? So whenever I am lifting or anyone who I give plan for bodybuilding phase, lifting light, basically how we start, right? We try to brace our core, we try to inhale and exhale. So this is calming our body down, right? And we are getting focused to start lifting. Okay. So on the other side, lifting very, very heavy is like you have to be hyped up and let's start going, right? Listening to loud music and get started. But with bodybuilding, lifting light, you have to be focused. Inhale, exhale, brace your core and start lifting, right? That's what calmness is, right? It's not driven by ego like in powerlifting phase. For bodybuilding, you have to be moving the weight very slowly, calmly. Okay. So that's one thing, and you have to target the muscle, right? Muscle to mind connection is very important while lifting light in the bodybuilding strength type of training, right? So that's one thing. Now the pros is, right, the pros is that couple of pros are very important here. The one is it will lower your injury risk, right? So out of the maybe 90 people that I train, right, if 80 people are in bodybuilding phase lifting light, I haven't seen those guys getting injured very often, right? But 10 people who are just want to stay in powerlifting phase, lifting heavy, 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 they get injured every couple of months, right? So I also insist them not to do it every month, right? Lifting heavy is not for everyone, is not for entire year, it's just for a month in a year, right? So injury risk is very low with lifting light in bodybuilding phase, and that's the major benefit, right? That's what we build a body for. We are here for the entire life, for health, for longevity. So that's the most important advantage. Another advantage is that I have a lot of workout routines. Those are called split body routines, right? So when I work with different clients, some of the clients have lagging chest, some have lagging biceps, some have lagging shoulders, lagging back, and etc., lagging glutes. So I have different split routines to build those body parts, to shape those body parts, right? So that is possible with lifting light, with the body weight strength training, right? I can focus on muscle to mind connection only for chest if your chest is lagging, right? So those are the split routines that we can fit here, which is not possible with power lifter training or heavyweight training, right? We can't, it's very difficult since the muscle to mind connection is not there. It's very difficult to bring a lagging body part there. That's the best benefit I would say with the lifting light. You can easily grow your body part, which is lagging for the past few years in just few months. Okay. Now coming to the disadvantage, cons of lifting light, right? Strength, starting strength that I say, right? Will you are not going to build as much strength like you can build while lifting heavy, right? So if you compare a power lifter with a bodybuilder, a power lifter who is lifting very, very heavy, he will be stronger. He can lift much heavier weights. Okay. A bodybuilder might not be able to compete lifting that heavy weight as compared to power lifter, which is fine, right? I'm not saying that you're not going to build strength at all, but power lifters who are lifting heavy most of the time during the year are going to be stronger. They are going to build overall stronger faster than the bodybuilding, right? Lifting light folks. So that's one. And then it is possible, right? I'm not saying it is going to happen, but some research done around this proves that if you are lifting heavier, right, you are going to build a little more muscle mass, and if you are lifting light, the muscle mass that you're building might be little low, right? So that, but again, coming to the point, right? If you're lifting heavy and heavy and heavy, you will get injured pretty soon, right? And then you will have a long break where you're not building any muscle. While the bodybuilder or the lifting light folks will be building muscle every time because they are not getting injured, right? So certainly you can get more stronger, more bigger while lifting heavier. But again, that's not for an average person. For an average person, he has to lift light with better posture, better form, and moving the weight slow, feeling the muscle to mind connection, and not getting injured. Because we are always training for health, longevity, right? So we want to be here throughout what you say, we want to be here till we are very old, right? Maybe 90 or 100 years old, and we want to keep doing weight training till we are very old, right? Our aim is not like Olympic lifters or certain other folks that we keep lifting heavy, and then it's not built for your for longevity. Okay, it is against health and longevity, lifting heavy throughout the year. You will realize, I don't know whether you know, right? These football players, they train very heavy throughout the year. They don't live long. They're if you research about them, right? Major big football players, they're very big, but certainly they are not training for health or longevity. They're just training for sports, right? That's not our aim. Our aim is to train with lightweights for health, longevity, build a beautiful looking physique. That's what we are aiming here. So I would suggest for an average person like me, and for anyone who wants this, you should focus on lifting light and feel your each and every muscles, right? And maybe just take a month where you are least stressed, and lift very, very heavy, like power lifter. Okay, that you can do, lifting maybe 20, 25 days a year as a power lifter is very sustainable. Okay, so what that will do is you'll build huge strength gains during that time, and then you can go to power building phase where you're lifting light, and you will see, oh my God, I have increased my strength level. I'm more stronger. I'm building muscles more faster. So that's what it is called, moving from one phase to other phase, right? So anyone who is lifting entire year in powerlifting, continuously lifting heavy, 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 I suggest them to go to bodybuilding phase and start lifting light, right? So it will be a definitely a kind of a new kind of stimulus to the body, and he is going to experience good muscle mass and good body growth, and as well as he can shape his body, right? On the other side, if you are continuously for years training lifting light as bodybuilder, I suggest you to take a month or 2 months and train like power lifter, lift very heavy, like less than 3 to 5 reps, right, for every set, and you are going to see huge uh, gain in your strength. So nothing is better than other. It's just about maintaining the balance and knowing when to switch from one to the other, right? But also, yeah, your stress level needs to be very, very low while you are lifting heavy. Just remember that recovery is the number one thing that I always advocate for. So that being said, guys, I think lift light for 11 months, lift very heavy for a month, and I think you are going to see huge progress in whatever you are doing, right? Thank you, thank you, Sai. Thank you, Dale, for joining us